Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about unusual attitudes and how you can get into them, and then the best way of getting out of it, as if I'm going to be practicing for my practical coming up here very soon. So unusual attitudes are when your aircraft is either in a climbing or descending without you commanding it to do so, or you commanding it to do so and you did not know this. And the best way to notice that you're doing this, especially in IMC, is paying attention to your instruments. And if you were paying attention to your instruments prior to being in an unusual attitude, you should never get into an unusual attitude. But I have, in my practice, come into small deviations from straight level flight and could have become unusual attitudes. So it's a good thing we go over this in practice. So I've already explained what you're unknowingly leaving controlled level flight. The easiest way to do this is not using autopilot. Autopilot is a very good tool, especially in IMC, so you can get other things ready, like your plates on ForeFlight to brief your approach or your departure, or looking at weather if you have, NexRad or whatnot on there. If you are not only commanding the aircraft, not paying attention to your instruments, which has happened to me, where I was not using autopilot and I went to brief the approach I was coming into, and I was in IMC, and did not notice when I was sitting there holding the yoke that when I went to look down on my knee board, I was turning to the right. I couldn't feel it. I didn't hear any differences in the sound of the engine, the prop, or anything. And when I looked up, I was already in about a 10-degree bank and losing about close to, it was like 200, 250 feet in my altitude, and then I corrected. But you can get into much serious scenarios that could lead to serious injury, death, or destruction of the property or the rental aircraft again, or your own. So I'm going to get into another example here. So recovering from an unusual attitude. Within this picture, I don't know how well it shows up on this camera, but right here we have a climbing attitude. The way you can tell is your airspeed is coming down, your attitude indicator is showing your nose is pointed towards the sky, you're in a right turn, your altitude is climbing, your turn coordinator is showing a right hand turn, your HSI or your directional gyro is also showing a right hand turn, and your VSI is climbing. So the best way to fix this scenario is, since you're climbing, losing airspeed, is you want to go to full power, lower your nose, and then go wings level, and then correct and get back to your proper altitude, your attitude, and then your airspeed for straight level flight. Alright, so recovering from unusual attitude in the descent. Obviously, if it was this serious, you're coming up to your never exceed speed, it's going to be making a lot of noise and should be getting your attention. Look up, you see that your airspeed is climbing. Attitude shows your nose is aimed towards earth and you're in a left bank turn. Your altitude is descending. Turn coordinator is correct, and then with your HSI, these three are pointing to the same thing. You're in a left-hand turn, with these three, well, four, are going to be showing you you're on the descent. So the best way to correct from this, especially at this speed, is you want to pull power immediately, go wings level before you start pulling up, because you want to even out the G's that are going to be forced upon the aircraft and the airframe and the wings without damaging it. If you were to try to pull up in this turn, you're going to create you're going to create a lot of G's on the aircraft that it's not intended for. So again, for descending, is you want to pull power, you'll start losing airspeed, wings level, then pull up. Different from climbing, where you want to get that nose back down before you go to wings level. So hopefully, I don't think you, being my instructor, sir, would have learned anything from me, but that I give you confidence that I can explain this on my practical, and thank you for watching my video.